Welcome to The Writer's Dream. This is a show where authors can talk about how they write their books, how they publish their books, and how they market their books. You could find us on YouTube, but you have to search for my name, Linda Maria Frank. And when my picture comes up, click on the picture, and we have over 100 interviews. All local talent, Long Island writers. There are hundreds of them. We also have a Facebook page. Guess what? It's called The Writer's Dream. If you want to be on the show, you can message me through the Facebook page. We also appear on Cablevision. Currently, we are on channel 20 at 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. And we are also here at LTV. If you go on streaming videos, you can find us there as well. Today's guest is Nicole Mullaney, AKA Nikki Lamers. And this is a lady who really writes a lot. And it's going to be an interesting interview to see how she manages it. And I think her books are engaging and something that you'll be very interested in. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Nicole.
Well, I grew up in Wisconsin, so
That's okay.
But
I've
I've lived here just as long now, so I've been here, 23 years now, so I've been in Long Island for a very long time. I actually met my husband, and he's from Long Island, and that's how I ended up here. So, but my family is back in Wisconsin.
It's a beautiful state. I have
is.
actually visited Wisconsin because my son lived in Chicago for a while. And we
Okay,
used to take little trips. We went to Taliesin and the House on the Rock
absolutely.
and other things. And there's a beautiful lake there, Lake
There's
Louise.
a lot of beautiful lakes.
Yeah. I think it's Louise.
I grew up just outside of Madison, so
Okay,
only about an
yeah.
hour and a half north of Chicago.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's right there.
It's a nice part of the country, I think.
Definitely, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So, how did you get into writing?
Well, I've actually written my whole life. Since I could hold a pen, I would make up stories, whether it be I would write scripts or books or, just shorts. I would constantly write. I was editor of my yearbook in high school. College, I did script writing, journal writing, and then I got into some grant writing and different things like that. So I've done all different kinds of writing, but creative writing was always my favorite. And so
And I see also that you were involved in script writing, and what was that job like?
So I actually got back into script writing and advising and supervising when somebody had come to me because they had read one of my books, Candy Kane. She had asked me if she was asked to do a Hallmark style film, and asked me if I could come in and help her put together something.
That must be a
So,
great experience.
yeah, it was a lot of fun to be able to do that, and that actually working with her. We did a bunch of different projects together, and then I was able to expand off, and I ended up doing a lot more projects in different areas, with some thrillers, comedy, commercials, different things. So it's been a lot of fun to be able to
All right,
do
so
that.
let's talk about your books because that's what you're here for.
Absolutely.
I guess the best way to do this is chronological.
Okay. My very first book was The Unforgettable Summer, and that is the first in my Unforgettable series. And that one it's a first love, second chance romance. It has, it's set in Maine on a lake. It's a picturesque setting, and I start with a little bit of history and then move a few years later. So one of the things about my Unforgettable series is, in general, when I first started, I thought it was just going to be one book, but I fell in love with the other characters. So how I write is each book is a different set of main characters. So they can be read as standalones, but they are better read in order because they follow a timeline.
Okay. Yeah,
So
yeah. You have to fall in love with your characters, right?
I do. They're like family, you know?
Yes,
It's you get
exactly.
to know them and you get very
Yeah.
attached.
What do you think is the most important characteristic to give a character to engage your reader?
Um, I think to make them real, and personable. I think there's one of your characters has different personality traits and different things that are involved in, but I always try to make sure that they're real, that they're
Human,
genuine. Yeah,
vulnerable.
definitely. And you show their growth.
Yeah,
Yes,
yes.
they have lows, and yes, there's highs, and then there's, everything in between. But that's life. And I follow that with my characters too, because that's how I feel like it makes the stories more real. It helps you connect to the stories and what they're all about.
Sure, well, that's, you're engaged in the story because you want to see what happens. I believe, it's my own feeling, and probably something I learned in a course I took, that the book has to have tension.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
it doesn't have to be a mystery to have tension, but there has to be tension where the character has some sort of problem, some sort of tension in their life, whatever it is, and they overcome it or they don't.
Exactly.
One or the other.
And how they work through that one way
Sure,
or the other.
sure.
Absolutely. And everybody reacts to things differently.
That's
And
true, that's true.
I feel like my characters kind of tend to tell their own stories. Once I figure out who they are, you figure out what would happen. Okay, so how would they react in this situation with these people and with this history, and they kind of end up telling their own story because you see what their life is like, and you look through their eyes when you tell the story.
Yeah, well, that's important. What about setting? For the Unforgettable series, the setting changes?
The Unforgettable series is the first 5 books are all set in Maine. They are on the lake, but they also spend some time at college as well. So there is also the college setting, kind of the Portland area.
Okay.
Um, but
It's a setting you're obviously familiar with
yeah,
and
my husband's family we've spent a lot of time up there. They had a house up there on the lake in Maine, and every year we would go up there, all different times of the year, and we would spend weeks up there, and it was just relaxing and beautiful. And we, traveled to different areas, spent time with them at the restaurants and the shops, and just relaxing on the
so you
lake.
really know the area
I
and that
do.
that shows in a book, I think.
I think so too. I think it definitely needs to be um, something that you can realistically show.
Right, when did you branch out into the other books? And explain the other books.
So I did the first 5 in the Unforgettable series. And then I went to Dreams Lost and Found and Finding Home, which is originally supposed to be one book. It just was too long and couldn't be cut. Um, what that is that one took me longer to write, but it was a book I always knew I wanted to write. I'm adopted, and my birth name is Lamers. So these books are an adoption journey. So Samantha, the main character, she loses her birth parents or her adopted parents, and then she goes on a search for her birth parents to try to figure out who she is. And she receives letters. She has a stack of letters that she received from her birth mom every year on her birthday, as well as when she found out when she was pregnant, as well as when she was born. And she uses those letters in the story to um, try to figure out more about herself. And she follows the letters to a new town and starts over and meets her love interest there. And he kind of helps her through the process and everything as well. So I found my birth family myself. I guess it's almost 9 years, not quite, but almost 9 years ago. And it's not my story, but I use my experience to show the
Your
emotions.
emotions, yes,
And
really.
so it's definitely a different
And that's a compelling theme.
different
There are a lot
story.
of people who take that journey, who
Absolutely.
need to take that journey or don't want to take that journey, depending upon,
Yeah,
what it
and
is.
there's so many what if questions if you're adopted, and anyone who is adopted, knows those questions. They may
Where
have
they
asked
come from,
themselves those
yeah.
questions, and this is just her journey trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life, and she wants to know more about herself to be able to do that.
Okay, so what came after that? Christmas?
Actually, I had gotten a lot of requests to go back to my Unforgettable series. There was characters that people wanted to know about, and there was one in particular character that everybody wanted to know about that has been in it since book one. She was a hated character, ironically, so they wanted to know why she was the way she was.
Okay.
So Unforgettable Mistakes came out, book 6, and I finally told her story. It's a story I knew, but I hadn't told, so it was kind of a way to be able to finally tell her story.
So are these characters based on real people?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
But I often say that you either have to create a character they love or one they hate, because
Right.
both are engaging.
They really are.
And the best is a anti-hero who has
Absolutely.
both characteristics. You love them and you hate them, depending upon
Absolutely.
what they're doing. Yeah.
And it's funny in the reviews, that's what you would hear. It's like, oh, this is a character I hated before, but now I know why she is this way, and you feel sorry for her, and you want to help her, and you want the best for her.
I think you brought some reviews. Would you like to read them?
Sure. Well, let's see. The Unforgettable Summer is the first one, and that one actually has received several awards as well. So
Which awards?
I received the Imogen Award for Best Romance Novel. That
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I was very excited about that. And then that was actually my first win for a romance, which I found kind of ironic. But I also received Firewood Book Awards for that book in Best Contemporary Novel, New Adult Novel, Series, and Beach and Summer Read. So
Yeah, I think it's very important to enter contests, because I know the ones that I've entered, through that, I've been able to get reviews.
absolutely.
And you could certainly, when you're marketing, use those reviews. So, yeah, it's important to do contests. So read your
Definitely.
reviews.
So for The Unforgettable Summer, this book was so good. It built my heart up, ripped it out, then slowly put the pieces back together. When an author can make you laugh, cry, then think about a book all night after you've finished reading it, then they have done their job well. And this author has absolutely done that here and then some. What a fantastic read. Unforgettable Nights is book 2 that also won some Fireboat Book Awards with Best New Adult Novel, Contemporary Novel, and Series. So,
Excellent.
and for this review, I have a sweet and emotional read. Blake and Liz each have histories that have left them bitter. Their struggles are real and reach outside the typical spectrum of your everyday romance. In Nikki Limmer's Unforgettable Nights. Forgiveness comes in many forms in this sweet read. I don't know how we're doing on time, if I
Yeah,
should,
well, what I
should
would
go
like
on
you to do is
to-
you just are releasing, or just released a book.
That's
yeah?
why I
I
wanted to
think you
mention
should go on.
that.
Yeah, we have time, don't worry. I'm watching. Yeah, talk about the new release.
So Breaking Cycles is my new release. It's gonna be a start of a new series. It's this one up front, but I had a model that portrayed the character very well. He's a motorcycle mechanic who took off from home over 10 years ago. And he's a loner, constantly traveling from place to place, never getting too close to anyone. And then what happens when he gets stranded in a small town, small beach community in the Carolinas, and can no longer run from his past. So it's
Sounds intriguing.
absolutely. It is a spin-off from a character that was mentioned in the Unforgettable series, but obviously he was never in it since he left home so long ago. So it's kind of connecting the two, but it's a great connection. But I'm really excited. That just came out on Tuesday. So
Now, is that self-published or do you have a?
no, that one is with Atmosphere Press.
Okay.
And I'm really excited to, that's my first time releasing with them, so I'm very excited to get this one out there.
Do they do mainly romance?
No, they do everything.
Everything?
Everything. They are particular about what they take, but they do take on everything.
That's good. So what's your marketing plan for this new book?
Well, we've done a few things. I do already have reviews that have come up on NetGalley, so we
Alright,
did put some things out there.
Absolutely.
Let's see. That's on. With Breaking Cycles, let's see. Grant Young, OMG, if he isn't the most attractive MMC I've ever read. This book was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed the banter between Grant and Ella. Watching Grant and Ella navigate through their relationship with two completely different minds and two other end goals is entertaining. I love the writing style Nikki used to tell the story. It was engaging and made me feel a part of their world. Will Grant ease up and let the love flow? Will Ella be patient? All questions I asked myself while reading. It was an interactive experience from start to finish. I also love how persistent Ella was and how dedicated she was to being in Grant's world. 5 out of 5, it was a great read.
There you go.
So, but that kind of gives a start. I did do a lot of ARC reviews and sent them out. NetGalley was definitely something we used. I just came from Lust and Low Country Romance Con down in Charleston. And I did a signing down there with all my books.
Excellent. So you've done a book signing, you've done
Absolutely.
pre-reviews. I mean, I'm mentioning all these things because the people who watch the show oftentimes want to know how do you go about getting your book out there? What do you do with social media?
Social media, I have several accounts. I do get assistance with finding different things as well, but I do have, meaning I have Instagram, I have TikTok, I have a Facebook page, my Amazon page. I'm trying to build that up more, of course, because that's new that they now are having follows with that, and they changed their design a little bit on Amazon, of course.
Yes.
So
I don't think for the better.
it's definitely different. So
I mean, I used to put my blogs on there and now it's just very vanilla, I think.
yeah, it's uniform.
Yeah, yeah, well, those are
But
kind words, but
but I also do I do have my website. I do think websites are extremely important.
yes, they are. Because you can put a link to purchase.
Absolutely,
You
not
can put
only
anything on your website.
right.
You can put
the
this
blogs,
interview on
the
this
interviews,
website.
the connections,
And blogs, yes.
absolutely.
I find that I find it very useful to put a blog on my newsletter and then to connect it to Facebook.
Right.
Now, let me ask you about TikTok, because TikTok is something pretty new now, and they call it Book Talk, right?
Right, they have a little of both, of course, but yes, absolutely.
So you have to make these little videos,
Yes.
but they tell me that you have to do it like every day, and I find that daunting.
I understand that completely. They do. And it's funny because they are always changing their algorithms too, whether it be on Instagram or TikTok, or they're constantly changing everything. So they go from, put 10 hashtags up to now they're saying, only like 4 hashtags is what they want. So if you put too many, then you lose out. So it's kind of always trying to pay attention to what's going on with the community as well. So that's not easy.
Yeah, it's good if you can find somebody who that's what they do.
Absolutely. I do have somebody that helps with some of that. I feel like as I write more, I lose more time writing, and
That's the conundrum. I mean, I have authors who have said, I won't go on social media because it takes away from writing time. But if you want to get your book out there, you have to do some social media.
exactly, which it's kind of a
Yes, balancing act.
it's a very, very difficult balancing
Sure,
act.
sure.
And yeah, and it's constantly changing, so you have to constantly pay attention to what's going on. So you definitely connections with other authors. I think I think it's amazing to be able to connect with other authors, talk with them, see what they're doing. And I love sharing other authors as well. You know, I mean, we're a community. I don't know any one person who reads just one author.
Oh, right, yeah. Right.
Everybody
And you can
reads.
do that on Goodreads.
Absolutely, which I love that. I love that about that.
And you
So
can, that's the other thing, the promotional thing you can do on Goodreads is to give a book away.
absolutely.
And all those things are helpful. Do you do author talks like in libraries and stuff like that?
I do, and I really enjoy doing those as well. I I always say, please contact me, let me know. I'd be happy to come in and talk with other authors. And then if you have a book, bring it in. I'll sign it too. So
Yeah,
it's
one of the things that I've noticed is that I do a series of lectures in libraries, but they're topics in forensic science. They don't really have anything to do with my books.
mhm,
But in some libraries, you can bring your books and sell them, and some you can't. But you meet people, and I always say that I do books, but one of the things that I have noticed, because I'm affiliated with a couple of writers' organizations, is that if you offered them a panel discussion, the librarians,
mhm.
they like that. So if you have contacts with other authors, that's another thing that you can do, is, do panel discussions. And I think they're interesting because you get a few different viewpoints. Now, when you're doing these, you have some material that you hand out, bookmarks and stuff like that. Want to show a few?
Absolutely. I mean, I have a few different things right now, especially with my new release coming out. I have cards, which these are great because if you don't want to buy the book, I can also sign the cards as well. And then you have a nice little signed bookmark. Stickers, of course, with both the books, whether it be Breaking Cycles or my author name. And then I do have bookmarks for my new release. And then I have them for the Unforgettable series, as well as
Right.
just my author name, which has my series names on the back as well.
Yeah, so the only books we haven't
And
spoken about are the Christmas books, and we have a few minutes left, so
yes. So, as I mentioned before,
that's a great idea.
I
That is a great idea.
I started doing the Christmas books because of Candy Cane. She had asked me to start working with her, and
Well, how could you miss Candy Cane, right?
absolutely, she has the perfect name for it. And so we started working together, and we have I write the books, and she writes the scripts. So that's how we've teamed up together, and then I do help on set when I've worked on those films
And
as
that's the
well.
most fun, right?
It definitely is. It's definitely a different experience,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of fun. For me, it's always about the story. I love being able to create the story anyway. And I did use these are all Nicole Mulaney books, and the reason is because Nikki Lamer's books are do have adult content. So that is a warning there. They do have adult content, so it's something they are considered spicy reads. And then I have Nicole Mulaney, our Hallmark style romance, and these are this one is my new release, Dating Santa's Son, and it also received a Firebug Book Award for Best Romance. So,
You're an award winner, you are.
thank you.
Good for you, congratulations. I strongly recommend that people look up these books. We have a minute left. Tell us, what would you tell somebody who wants to write?
The big thing,
Advice.
read, especially in the genre that you like to write, that you want to write in, you definitely also want to read in that genre. And you also want to be able to write what you're passionate about. Write what you love, write
Write
what you know. And my biggest rule that I've always tell everyone is show, don't tell. Because when you're told the story, it's not as exciting as when you're in the middle of it. You want to see
Dialogue.
it happen.
Right, dialogue, very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, people who write expository writing, you know, like describing things and whatnot, they have the hardest time with dialogue, and I keep saying to them, it's just people talking.
It's a good balance.
Yeah.
You want to find
So,
that balance.
Yeah. What about marketing, quickly?
Marketing, you definitely want to get out there. Social media, don't be afraid to ask. Go to the book signings, talk to other authors. Anything you can do, something like this. I have a radio interview lined up for Thursday. I mean, anything you can do. And you want to be able to share your books, whether it be the talks or.
And I say, make your computer your best friend.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Nicole
much,
Mullaney.
Linda. I really appreciate it.